Ever feel lost in the crowd? Well, this video is for you. Watch it till the end. Had to get this content out to you guys, roll it out as it just comes, you know? So if you ever feel lost in the crowd, like you put others before you, or feel peer pressured into doing things that you don't want to do, you feel like not yourself around people, you feel yourself leaning more towards what other people want you to do rather than what you feel is right to do for you, or like your character has been getting stifled in any way, shape, or form. It's because you need to understand the framework that the world was built upon. You see, life is a circle in a square. It's that simple. So to explain this, you see a square. It's all, it's got sharp edges, cut corners, four sides. It's meant to represent male nature. We're supposed to be blocky. We're supposed to be, strong, cut, sharp, making decisions. Like when you make a decision, you cut the other options to make one decision. Like a river, when a river flows, it flows through and cuts the earth through weathering. Men are sharp. The word is considered a sword, and a man carries a sword. He wields a sword for protection, because we're supposed to be just like Jesus Christ himself, who is the reflection of the Father, right? So that all being said, inside that square, inside a man, inside a house is a circle. That's a woman. That's female nature. That's creation. That's everything made by the male framework. House holding creation. What would that house be? Jesus, Yeshua, God himself, holding us all. The law. The law is our borders. The law is our circumstance. What keeps us close-knit and close-kept. What keeps us also protected, so that when we roll or when we do what we do, we're not going out of bounds, rolling where we're not supposed to, That's how everything is. If you look at skin cells, our protective layer, the individual cells look like squares and they have little nucleuses and circles in them. The same concept is in programming. Ones and zeros, ones and zeros. The one is the man, the zero is the woman. Now let's get into why people are having this problem so we can solve it. Now here goes a square and a circle. Doesn't look right, does it? Got the square in there. It looks way too sharp for the circle. And it just looks uncomfortable, right? Like that square needs to get out of there. And that's the only way it works. Because if you look at the circle being the Most High's creation, he plants a seed within us so that we can reproduce him, right? That's the same concept as a man and a woman. When they have children, a man puts his seed within a woman, and then she has a baby, right? But that baby's only in there for 9 months. So the seed that the Most High planted within us is supposed to be something that we birth, we express, we say and do. That's the only way it works. Otherwise, it'll just be like putting a sword in the ground and leaving it there. It will rust, it will degrade, and over time, the corners will disappear and it'll start getting digested. And then before you know it, it'll be a circle. And female nature, that's just not the way things roll. Now, each and every one of us have a piece of the Most High that we carry with us. That's our character. That's who we are in the grand scheme of things. And it's very important. That is our square. That is what we are within, our name. And our name is within his name. So that makes us like squares when we walk around. And what we protect within our character, within our name, is our vessel, is what we create. And within that, within our vessel, within everything that we create is supposed to be the seed of the Most High that we consistently express through what he's given us through our name in our righteous assignment. And the reason why you're feeling lost, why you're feeling like you're not yourself, is because you're letting this circle stay around you for too long. The base of the word circumstance is a circle. So then that's what you know that it represents. So everybody else, in regards to your assignment, are like circles. You only go to the people that you need help from, and those people who come in the way, you have to tell them, you got to move because I got to do this, and they have to listen to you in regards to that, right? So in regards to your circumstance, you're just not expressing yourself too much. You're staying within everybody else's circle too long. You're probably in a situation that you should have graduated from a long time ago, whether you're staying somewhere that you should have left, or whether you're hanging around people who are very acidic in nature, who don't express the Most High, so they're not squares, they're just one big circle around you. Or maybe you yourself are acting like a circle and keeping the Most High's word dormant within you. So in order to alleviate this problem, you have to put everything in its home. And where's everything's home? It's within a square. So say you're in a toxic relationship. Your partner is just very, very toxic. You guys just don't work well together, and you guys aren't giving each other what each other needs to stay healthy, whether it be mentally, spiritually, physically, and you just won't leave. Every time the Most High has given you a feeling to leave, he's been telling you, all right, now we got to keep me alive. All right, now we got to make sure we express me. All right, now we need to graduate. All right, now. So when we don't listen to that circumstance around us, it just keeps wearing away at our square. The square that is your character isn't being released from that circumstance, right? So that's a problem because it could wear away the edges and you can lose track of who you are. The square within us that we need to express, which is the Most High, and when we need to assert ourselves, we need to say the word in our circumstances. That's not being said. So it's hurting us in the inside. And that's when, you know, people get lost and they feel like they don't know what to do, or when things get worse. And another example is when you're around a whole group of people, right? And you guys are brainstorming together to get ideas to make something important. And you feel as if everybody else is expressing themselves, but you're not. People are talking over you. People aren't giving you the time of day. People aren't giving you the spotlights you need. And it just feels overwhelming. You're not asserting yourself. You're not expressing your square. You're not keeping your square on the outside of you. So when the circles come, they would be bouncing off the borders, right? Boom, 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 boom. They wouldn't be able to get to your nucleus. But some people are like circles on the outside. Not only are they bouncing against other circles, even people's squares, if they assert themselves, right, and they're getting cut up, they're being molded into something they're not meant to be, because their nucleus is all exposed. They don't have that border out there to express or to keep who they are in the center protected. They're not leading with their assignment. They're not leading with their purpose. They're just being very passive. They got all the sensitive, exposed areas on the outside. All the malleableness is on the outside. They keep their name. They keep the law that the Most High given them. Their mission. They keep it within them, locked dormant. So that's the reason why. Because when you're rubbing up against people who are expressing themselves and who are asserting themselves and leading with their assignment and leading with what they need to do, they're cutting you. And for some, it molds them into something that they're not. So that's the reason. You have to make sure that you lead with your assignment. You got to make sure that you lead with your name. You got to make sure that you assert yourself and you express who you are. Don't let people walk over you. Don't let them cross your boundaries. Have integrity in the Most High and his assignment that he's given you, in righteousness, in your name, in who you are, and express that. And here's the thing. When you do that, things will move. Everything will move for you. And you have to make sure that you understand this and keep this at heart. So when somebody comes up to me, I have two choices. Do what we want to do and do what we need to do. If do what we want to do conflicts with what we need to do, you have to express that. You have to be like, no, I can't do this because I need to do this. And that's the reason why you may be feeling drowned out or overwhelmed or lost. You're not leading with your purpose. You're not leading with the name that God gave you. You're not leading with your assignment, right? Because that makes you malleable and susceptible to being cut by everybody's square, everybody else's corners, right? It leads you to being molded by their law and not yours. So take the time, right, to check and see what is outside of its square in your circumstances. What is it that is outside of the Most High's law for your life? What is it in your life that is not protected? What is it in your life that's holding the word so that it doesn't get expressed? Put all the squares outside of your circles. Encapsulate all your circles in a square. Govern all your ways with the law. Make sure you keep everything clean and cut and separate in your home. That's why one of the most important things you can do is clean your room if you're ever feeling scattered or you're ever feeling all over the place. That's why getting enough sleep and waking up in the morning and making your bed every morning is super important. It keeps you well governed, well regulated, and it gives you those little wins that you can look at and say, yeah, I did that. I don't have to handle that. That is in its square. That is in its home. If you're feeling overwhelmed by your circumstances, put everything in its home, in its square, including yourself. Keep going, and before you know it, you will succeed. Stick through it until the end. Maintain your integrity, because you know what they say. Before there's a birth, right? There's always birthing pains, travails, contractions. So it may seem like things are getting harder. Stick through it. It's the surface tension. You got to break through it. And it's always good to get a little running start. You get right through. Push. And then the baby comes out, right? Each time they have to plan it to breathe. And in between, the woman pushes, push. And then finally the baby comes out. And always remember that life is a circle in a square. And if a square is in a circle, it needs to be birthed. If you may not know what your assignment is at the moment and you guys need help finding it, I do alignment calls where we break down your name and what it means. Like our forefathers and foremothers, our name is important. I ask you a few questions that are in line with God's purpose for your life and build an overall journey template that you can refer to anywhere on your journey in life. Link is down in the comments below. So go ahead and copy that link, put it in your browser, and book you an appointment. I can assure you guys, you definitely won't regret it if you do. All right, shalom, guys. Have a blessed day.